Hello and welcome to another video from Stacks Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now quite old, is very collectible, and is becoming increasingly more difficult to find, especially in this mint unopened condition. We are looking at the 1996 release by Applause from their Star Trek 30th anniversary series of collectible miniature dioramas. And this particular one we're looking at today is from Star Trek, the original series. And it is that classic scene from the episode entitled Arena, where Kirk is being stalked by the Gorn that he's doing battle with. So it's all based on the classic television series, which was a science fiction series created by the amazing Gene Roddenberry. And it follows the adventures of the USS Enterprise, the Starship Enterprise, NCC 1701, and its crew. Now, Star Trek has become known as the original series to differentiate from, or distinguish it from, the other Star Trek TV series in the franchise. So it's known as the original series. And the show is set in the Milky Way galaxy, and it's circa 2266 to 2269, which is about 300 years in the future of when it was produced. Now, the ship and the crew are led by none other than the legendary Captain James T. Kirk, as portrayed by William Shatner, his first officer and science officer, the Vulcanian Mr. Spock, as portrayed by the late great Leonard Nimoy, and of course his chief medical officer, Dr. Leonard H. Bones McCoy, who's portrayed by the late great DeForest Kelley. Incidentally, each episode starts with an incredible speech by William Shatner, which gives you the concept of the television series, which says, "Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before." And obviously now I know that Star Trek Next Generation had the very similar intro, as does Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, there was 3 seasons produced of Star Trek, the original television series, each episode running for about 51 minutes, and there were 79 episodes in total, which includes the original pilot. Now, the original pilot was rejected by the financial backers originally because it drifted too far away from the concept that Gene Roddenberry had pitched for the TV series. But a second pilot was ordered, which starred William Shatner as the Captain James T. Kirk, and the rest, as we know it, is history. Budget for season 1 was $190,000. Budget for season 2 was $185,000. And budget for season 3 was $175,000. Interesting that the budgets were declining over the 3 seasons. Maybe that's because the sets were built on the first budget. Maybe it's because the production companies like to tighten the purse strings on each additional series. I don't know, but interesting that. Okay, so let's not digress any further. This is the item in front of us, and this is the box it comes in, and it says, "Everyone loves to get applause," and it says Star Trek Collectibles Arena Miniature, and on the very top you've got the Star Trek logo, and it's Star Trek Collectibles, and again on the right hand corner it says, "Everybody loves to get applause." Now, I'm just going to turn the box to the side so we can have a look at that that scene from the episode Arena, which is printed on the box there, and that's where the Gorn is attacking Kirk, who is laying injured on the floor. And again it says, "Everyone loves to get applause." And I think it's the same on the other side. Let's turn it around. Oh no, it's different on the other side. We've got the Star Trek 30th anniversary logo, and it says again, "Everyone loves to get applause." Okay, let's spin it round to the back. Okay, so I'll turn the box around to the back, and this is what we've got. So we've got a brief bio here from the episode, and it says, "For adult collectors only, Star Trek." Production name was Arena Miniature. Aired week of January 19th, 1967. Starfleet data log. It says after receipt, star date is 3045.6, production number 19, episode is Arena. It says, after receiving a request to visit Starfleet base Cestus 3, the Enterprise crew find that the base is destroyed by a reptilian race known as the Gorn. On the planet, Captain James T. Kirk and his landing party are ambushed and discover that the request had actually been sent by the Gorn. A battle between the Gorn ship and the Enterprise ensued, but when the fight crossed into the territory of the powerful Metrons, an alternative conflict was created. In an attempt to settle the battle, the Metrons beamed Captain Kirk and the immensely strong Gorn captain down to the surface of an artificial planetoid to battle to the death. With the fates of their ships and crew at stake, both the Gorn and Kirk fought fiercely. When Kirk gained the upper hand, he refused to kill the Gorn, realizing that the Gorn had been defending their territory when they destroyed the Cestus 3 settlement. Kirk's mercy impressed the Metron, and the two ships were allowed to go their separate ways. Okay, so that's a brief bio of the episode, and as I say, this is that miniature, the cast miniature of that famous scene. Okay, what we're going to do now, I'm going to open the box. I'm going to take the miniature out, and because I do want to have a good look at it, because it looks absolutely awesome. So let's do that, and let's have a look at it outside of the box. Okay, so I removed the item from the box, and this is what we got. So we've got the certificate of authenticity here, which is, it seems to have got a little bit crumpled up in the box, but it is present. And we've got the downpaste logo, which downpaste were the importers and distributors for Applause in the UK back in 1996 when this was produced. So that comes with it, and it tells you that it's a downpaste and their address in NW9, and it says, please retain this tag as source of information of this toy and its importer. And it's made in China, and you've got the CE marking. It's got number 20 there, so I presume it's 20 in the series. I'm not 100% sure about that. And you've got Star Trek Collectibles, Certificate of Authenticity. And if we open it up, it says Star Trek Collectibles, Certificate of Authenticity. We hereby certify that this Star Trek Arena miniature is a first edition piece created exclusively by Applause under license from Paramount Pictures. And on the back there again, you've got the Star Trek 30th anniversary logo. So everyone loves to get Applause, and it gives you the Applause details there, and the trademark and licensing authorization on the bottom there. Okay, that's the certificate, and let's have a look at the figurine, because I think this is absolutely amazing. It really is. I mean, look at the Gorn. I mean, the Gorn is just absolutely stupendous, and looks just absolutely spot on to the one in the TV series. I mean, he looks absolutely incredible. I know it'd be probably quite difficult to not cast it right, but he does look absolutely amazing with that knife that he's spent his time making so that he could destroy the captain with. And he's in that Gorn ragged loin leotard, if you like, with his belt, with his recording device on his belt there, as I say, and he's holding that dagger up, about to stab Captain Kirk. And there you can see his amazing eyes, and his mouth, and his teeth there. So, but yeah, muscular and big Gorn. And there we have Captain James Kirk. Now, I am a little bit disappointed with the facial features of the figurine there. I mean, it doesn't look anything like Captain Kirk. We know it's Captain Kirk, obviously, because of the scene and the episode and so on. But the facial features are, I mean, really not very good at all. But the scene is there, so apart from the face, you know what's going on. Certainly if you're a fan of the classic series and you know the episode. But other than that, I mean, the emblem on the shirt is nice. Let's just zoom in a little bit and have a better look at that. It's not quite right, but it's not bad. And the gold markings around the sleeve, they're close, but again, they're not spot on as you would have expected them to be. But other than that, it's very good. The shirt is right, the trousers are right, and it's caught up in that netting that the Gorn laid a trap on. And there he is about to stab Captain Kirk, leaning up against those rocks. Okay, let's get some sizes of this amazing item. So I'm just going to measure the length of this. So we're looking at 15 centimeters in length. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see the entire length. So we're looking at 15 centimeters in length from one tip to the end. Now, if we measure height, we're going to be measuring from the base to the top of the Gorn. And you can see there, that measures in at about 11 centimeters, which is actually, you can't see it very well that way, but if I do it this way, you'd be a better look. So it's just under 11 centimeters, and if I measure across here, which is the widest point, we're looking at about 8 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size. Now on the base, it's got Star Trek, Applause Inc., Woodhill Hills, California 91365, TM and copyright 1996, Paramount Pictures, all rights reserved. Star Trek and related marks are trademarks of Paramount Pictures. Applause authorized user, made in China. That's item 49157. Arena miniature, collectible only. This item is not a toy. And it says first edition. And this is item number 7075 of 7,500 pieces worldwide. So there we have it. That is that wonderful cast miniature of Captain Kirk and the Gorn. And I've got to say, it does look absolutely splendid. I do actually have one of these in my collection. And I've also got a little scene of the Playmates figures watching a screen from the screen that I've got from one of the Mego play sets, and I've made it look like they're watching the clip from the screen inside the Enterprise, so that they're watching this battle going on with Kirk and the Gorn. So that's in my display. So it's great display, and I do think it looks absolutely fabulous. Okay, there you're going to say to me, well, how well did these do back in 1996? Well, 1996 was a big year for Star Trek. It was the 30th anniversary year. Star Trek at that time was probably the most popular sci-fi franchise in the world. It held that really until the announcement of the new movies, the new Star Wars movies, and the original 3 movies returning to the big screen. But from the launch of Star Trek Next Generation, which was 1987, right up until, I think, 1997. So for 10 years, it was the most popular sci-fi television series again, as it was back in the 1970s. But obviously, with Star Wars coming back on the scene, that mantle shifted back to Star Wars. But even so, 30th anniversary was a very, very big year for Star Trek. Lots of merchandise produced, action figures, play sets, toys, shirts, games, all sorts of things were produced for the 30th anniversary. It was a very, very big year. And this was no exception. These were all produced in limited runs, and they sold exceptionally well. I can remember when we had the shop, we had a big delivery of these miniatures, and we put them on the shelves. We had one out on display, and below the display was all the boxes. And literally, we pretty much put them out for sale on the weekend, and by Monday there was nothing left. They'd all gone, including the display models, which we put back into the boxes and sold them as well, because as soon as people saw them, they thought these were absolutely amazing. We hadn't really had much like this in the past, so it was something that everybody wanted, and we literally did sell out of them in no time at all. And it was very difficult to get any more back into stock because of the limited quantities that were available, that were produced, especially the ones that came over here in the UK, because obviously they were produced in the US. But the ones that come over in the UK, they were in such low quantities. I think we did get another delivery in after this, of very small quantities, but we didn't get a whole selection. And of course, when they sold out, we just couldn't get any more because they come to an end. But yes, very, very popular and sold very, very quickly. Okay, let's move forward to 2025, which is where we are today. So we're moving forward 29 years because obviously next year is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, so it's almost 30 years since we had those big celebrations. Question, do these come up for sale very often on the platforms? Well, yeah, I mean, you do see these pop up from time to time on platforms. Not very often, though. Few and far between, and they are fairly expensive when they do come up. Well, in reality, they're probably not that expensive overall. But if you compare them to what they were when they originally came out, then the price obviously has gone up multiple times. But then, of course, 30 years on, things would have increased somewhat. But yes, they do pop up from time to time. Various different states of condition if you're looking on the platforms. Some of them come complete with a box. Some of them are just the loose figurines. And some are complete, as this one is, with the certificate and the card from Downpace. So yeah, I mean, they do occasionally, but not as often as you would have thought, or should I say, not as often as they used to. They did used to appear a lot more often than they do now, but there we are. That's just the way that goes. Obviously, as time goes on, things start to appear a lot less frequently than they used to. But yeah, I mean, if you're patient enough and you look hard enough, you will probably be able to find one on the platform. But do remember, buying on a platform comes with its own risks. Do have a very good look at the item you're looking at and read the description carefully. Look at all the images, because there is a very big difference between people's opinions. And someone might say it's a very good condition, while you might think it's only acceptable condition. So there is a big scope of differences there. So do have a good read and a look at the item to save any disappointments once you've ordered the item. And also, don't forget, some of the platforms use stock images and stock descriptions, so you could be looking at a mint one like this. However, if there's no new ones available, they automatically go to the cheapest used item, and that may well not be what you are wanting. And it wouldn't be the fault of the seller, it wouldn't be the fault of the buyer. It's just the way the platforms work, which is silly, really, but that's the way they work. Now, these particular items we've got, they were all part of a shop buyout, which we bought out. Now, there was quite a collection of these. I think there was probably about maybe 15 of these that we have that were in a stock room, which have been there for quite some years, which were unsold at the time. And the owners took them off the shelf, put them into the stock room to make room for new stock going in onto the shop floor. And there they stayed until the owners decided to retire, and we were called in and asked if we would like to buy out all their stock, and we did. And that was the stock on the shop floor and the stock in the stock room. And lucky for us, all of these miniatures were part of that shop buyout. And we are making them available to our customers on the MyStatch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage Star Trek items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful vintage Star Trek Arena miniature collectible diorama with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.